Next on the importance list would definitely be the oil guns. Right here we have brand new digital metering guns because the digital metering guns are super accurate. They're the most accurate guns that you can have. So we know that every single car that comes through, the gun is going to be calibrated correctly and the amount of oil that goes in is going to be exactly right. Teamed up with the guns is the reels. Now the reels here in the Millersville store are actually enclosed, so I can't really show you the reels, but the reels and guns go hand in hand. The reason we hang them from the ceiling is ease of use, so that we're not dragging the oily line on top of anyone's fender. Now, one of the things we do have at all the shops are called fender covers. The fender covers will go on top of the fender somewhere on the hood to protect the customer's car from any kind of oil getting on it. The reason I put the oil guns at a lower importance on the oil change scale than the tanks and the pumps is because you can actually run an oil change business without having the reels and the guns. It's not easy, but it can be done. Now, down behind me is a Mobil 1 keg. We carry Mobil 1 in almost all the stores because that's a very recognizable brand, and we know that people really like the Mobil 1 oil. It's a little bit more expensive, but we do know people like it. Now, that Mobil 1 keg has a hand pump in it. Now, if you're a store that's doing 15, 20 cars a day, you could very easily run the entire shop using just a hand pump. It does not take more than a few seconds just to pump out 5 quarts of that oil. And the same thing goes for kegs, which is 15 to 33 gallons. And then a very recognizable image that a lot of people know is the 55-gallon drum. The 55-gallon drum is probably the most recognized piece of the oil industry that there is, besides maybe the derricks that pump the oil out of the ground. But this 55-gallon drum was our 020 before we started putting it in the bulk tank because the volume increased to the point where we needed to get the 020 in the bulk tank. So the pumps, the reels and the guns are super important, but the pumps and the tanks are, in my opinion, are a little bit more important, and because you can pump out of those tanks using different types of hand pumps without needing the guns and the reels. But if you're a store that wants to do everything the most efficient way possible, you definitely want to have the reels and the guns. It makes your life a whole lot easier.